Well, thank you for watching our podcast again this week. Thought I'd talk about three items of interest that I'm sure at least one of which is on everyone's mind, and that is the catastrophic fire that's been burning this enormous area in southeastern Arizona. It's, of course, threatening to come into New Mexico, and there are a lot of people who are being inconvenienced, not only inconvenienced, but damaged in very substantial ways because of this. It's a real tragedy for both Arizona and southwestern New Mexico that this is occurring. And of course, the health effects of it on most of our state, and much of our state, are very real, with the very high amount of, a large amount of smoke and soot in the air. So I think people are all following the news on this. I don't have a great deal to contribute in that respect. I know we have several thousand very courageous folks out there fighting the fire and hopefully beginning to get it under control. We hope the winds will cooperate, and we hope that this can be brought under control in the very near future. Also wanted to talk a little about energy, our Energy Committee, which I chair, and what we've been trying to do this week. We had several hearings. Main focus was energy efficiency. We have legislation that's been proposed to substantially improve efficiency standards in buildings and residential properties, in industrial processes, in appliances. All of these things are being considered in the committee. We didn't have any actual voting on legislation this week, but we had some very good hearings. We also had a hearing on the issue of rare earth minerals and rare earth elements, which are essential for much of the high technology, particularly the clean energy technology products that we use today, and we need to be sure that we can have a reliable supply of that, those rare earth elements for use in manufacturing in this country. So we've had good hearings. I hope that in the next week or two we can actually report some additional legislation along these lines that can be considered by the full Senate. The one other area that we took action on this week in the Senate was on the issue of using debit cards. When folks use a debit card, in the past, there's been no limit or oversight at all on the amount that's being charged to local store owners when those debit cards are used rather than people paying cash. We passed a provision as part of the Regulatory Reform Act this last year that said that the Federal Reserve should look into this and should determine what is the cost to banks of the use of these cards, and then set an amount that they could charge which related to that cost. The Federal Reserve has not yet finalized what they're going to do there, but there was an effort to repeal the authority of the Federal Reserve to move ahead in this area, and that effort failed. I voted against taking away the Federal Reserve's authority in this area. I think it is appropriate that we look at the amount of fee that's being charged to businesses and accordingly to people, consumers who buy products, and see that that's reasonable. So the specifics are, the study that they've done says that it costs about 12 cents to the bank for each time a person uses a debit card. The charges have been 44 cents for each use of a debit card instead, and this action by the Federal Reserve hopefully will bring about a more reasonable result. But again, thank you. This has been the first week of 4 that we're in session here in the Senate. So we'll give you another update next week as to what we're doing. I hope we can report progress, particularly on some of these energy bills that I referred to. Thanks again for watching.